welcome ladies and gents here to the Arena of Valor World Cup Team Fight Analysis where we look at some of the best plays coming in from the MSP region. Of course, I'm Arctic and with me, joining me to break down what exactly happened in some of those glorious fights is Chisto and Vulcan. So gentlemen, how are you guys doing today?
Okay lang, okay lang.
I like it, Dan. I mean, thanks for having us today, Arte. I saw your first breakdown with Rocker and Marco, and
Yes.
I'm happy to be here, guys.
Let's go ahead and check out those fights nonetheless. So for this very first clip, check out how the MSP region capitalizes on the mispositioning of Team Thailand in this fight right here.
As we see the start of this fight, guys, you notice the difference in objectives between both teams. Notice how Thailand wants to go for split push with Lubu is very strong with the split push, but as for MSP, they want to go for the team fight, wanting to punish the numbers disadvantage that Thailand currently has. And even though the flash goes down early in this fight, the fact that Singapore do have the marksman Lindis, and since she's able to survive so long, they actually deal enough damage and take out the members of Thailand.
And I think it's the fact that when you count the Lindis, you gotta also count that Teamy. I mean, you all know that Teamy has the being a bro, the putty to AoE stun, and in my opinion, I feel like when it comes to SG's comp, you gotta hand it to the fact that they have a marksman. Thailand does not have a marksman, and we all know in AoV, when you have a marksman, it's a great investment. And I think this is the time where SG really reeled it in.
Exactly. I'd have to agree with you because if you're going to look at the composition that Thailand has, there's a lot of melees right there. The only exception, of course, would be Crixie, but the Crixie wasn't able to get that much of an impact in that team fight because the time that she used that ultimate it was really used much more defensively than offensively just to make sure that nobody could get onto her. But of course, after that, since everybody else on Team Thailand was melee, everybody had to collapse right in that fight. Everybody had to go in there. And of course, there's not really as much safety in comparison to the Lindis. Sure, the Lindis did get collapsed on eventually, but because of the support that she got from the team in exchange so that she lasts longer, that definitely worked out in their favor. I don't know, man. I think that just really goes to show that MSP, they have the capacity to capitalize on mistakes coming from an opponent. In this case, it's what's mostly Thailand's mispositioning as well as the priorities, not to mention it was a 4v5 in all fairness. So even though they were able to get tainted once earlier on, forcing it to a 4v4, it was a bit scattered overall. I guess there you have it, guys. That wraps up our first team fight breakdown right there for some of the great plays we saw from MSP during the Arena of Valor World Cup in Los Angeles. So be sure to tune in for the next video, guys, because we'll be breaking down yet another team fight in the future. But for the meantime, we'll be taking our leave. I'm Mark Dick, and of course with me is Chiso and Vulcan. We'll see you guys at the next video.